afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you didn't respond. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Great men have stood here. I'm starting to have the, what do you call it, that syndrome. It's called what? Imposter syndrome. But I'm glad to be here. I want to thank Tradepass for giving me this opportunity. I'm quickly learning that if you're going to be a speaker at such a high-level conference, be the first ones, so that your content is not all used and you get, your content is finished. So I've been looking at what the great men and women who have come to this stage have spoken, and I don't want to repeat myself. So I've really redacted my PPT. I've made it so simple, so I'll take a bit of your time, just maybe 15 minutes, and then I'll be done. So we're in a conference where there is software being sold to take care of cybersecurity. There is advice being given. We need to do a lot of training and awareness. We've seen all those systems. We're talking firewalls, multifactor authentication, VPNs, physical security, logical security. But there's one problem, guys. Okay, my first problem is I need that switch. Where is it? Do I know how to use it? Good. There's one problem. I call it the human factor. I was very curiously following to see who's going to present and tell us how to handle the people. Okay? So, what is social engineering? I've just plugged in what social engineering is in three aspects. So we're talking of, there's an exploit, okay, and we're exploiting the human factor. There's data loss, there's access to restricted systems, and there's the potential of spreading malware in your systems. That's what is going to happen when you get a social engineering attack. But why? Somebody wants your money, or somebody just wants to hurt you and give you some loss or damage. That's why. How? They first, they'll prepare, there's the preparation part, then they get into your systems, they do whatever they intended to do, and then they will leave you because they have already achieved their objective. So that is the entire social engineering journey. But there's a mobile phone there, and I don't know if you guys can see it clearly. There's an armored guy, he's fully armored. So we're talking of, I took this in one of the memes from social media. Guys are doing some nice things in the first part where there's a lot of defense. You've patched your systems. As Tom has said, some systems are not patched. You've patched your systems and everything has been done. But there's one arrow that goes through the whole defense. Can you guys see it? That arrow, that is what we're exploiting, the human aspect. All these buzzwords, I think, have been explained one way or another by the presenters here. Many of them are things that you know, that happen. But I'll give you 2 stories that happen in Kenya. Now, these are Kenyan versions. I come from a banking background, so some of them will have the banking angle. Someone goes into a public service vehicle, and then a stranger asks you, oh, excuse me, I can't see my phone. Could you flash my phone so that I see where it's ringing from, I pick it up? Then you flash. Then they tell you, oh, I found my phone. What have they done? What have they done? They've gotten your number, right? Then now after 2 minutes, you don't know it's a cartel, you're in a public service vehicle. That same person will say, hey, I can't see my phone. They'll ask somebody else, can you please call this number? That's my number. And that's how you become the thief, and they take away your phone. Now you're being human, you are helping, right? You didn't see that one coming. Second example. There is a guy who was shot in Kenya recently. He's called Samuel Mugoto. He was just shot in public daylight by other thugs, apparently. But he was a guy who used to steal from unsuspecting ATM users. He would jam the ATM, then wait for you, the unsuspecting ATM user. When you come and put your card, of course, it's not going to work. Then he is going to be the stranger that is coming to help you, the good Samaritan. Then he will remove your card and tell you, I think there's a problem here. Just try again. But when he's saying try again, he's giving you another card. You are unsuspecting, you don't know. Your other card will not work. And then you'll leave the ATM station. You are, of course, frustrated. But this same guy, when you were putting in the other ATM card, he was taking your PIN. He was checking. What do you call it? Shoulder surfing. He picks your PIN. The moment you leave and he's sure you're out of sight, he uses your ATM card, takes your money. Final example, quickly. I live in a gated community. And I think one of the things we like doing is sharing our data on social media. So there was one nice birthday party. And this lady, she actually posted the party, the cake. The cake has the name of the child. And all the guests were tagged on that photo. So one day she has traveled. She even puts that information that she has traveled. She's taking the photo with the KQ airport. Somebody goes to her house. That somebody knows the father of the child, knows her name, knows the name of the child, even knows a few of the aunties, and says, the dad is asking for this child. I need this child immediately. The dad is waiting for this child in town. That is how a kidnapping happened. All these scenarios are working out on the human aspect. Because humans, we are good. You don't want the dad of the child to feel bad that you refused, so you let the child go. Because after all, this guy has all the right information. Okay? Now, our problem gets worse. The digital revolution. Backbase have done a study, a research, where they're saying the unique mobile subscribers in 2019 were 477 million. That number is expected to grow in the next 2 years to 614 million. This is an African perspective. Now, these are mobile subscribers. I hope my friend, Mr. Tim, you can confirm these numbers from M-Pesa. SIM cards. Now, the next statistic is about the mobile internet users. When you talk of SIM cards, you have the smartphone and you have what I call the dummy phone. Okay? So you can, but for the mobile internet users, that's why you need the smartphone. That number is going to increase by about 50% to 475 million again in 2025. The digital front is, of course, the next frontier. I have a question for you guys. If you are leaving your house, actually I want to ask the ladies. Ladies, if you're leaving the house and you forgot your purse, there are two things you can forget, your purse or your phone. And then you walk up to 100 meters away. Which item will make you return to the house? The phone or the purse? I didn't hear? The phone, right? We are basically saying you can't survive without your phone, right? So the digital footprint is just expanding. Now, most of these social engineering attacks, they are going to be focusing on this. They're going to be leveraged on the digital space. How do we protect our grandmother in the village who is using a dummy phone and gets a message, please send to this number? You guys know that message? How will she know this is not from Cyfrica? Someone is trying to do social engineering. That is the question. I can see we've taken care of our offices. The Data Protection Commissioner was here. I'm sure they're focusing on the big organizations that collect data. But what about the human aspect? Who is telling the new intern, there's a link here, don't click. That's before the awareness training happens. Okay? Sorry. So we are here now. I was reading a book. Robert Greene is one of my best authors. He wrote the 48 Laws of Power. I read about the law of rationality, of irrationality. Again, it's the same writer. This guy asserts or avers that humans are irrational by nature. Emotions. Okay? We love, we hate, we trust, we fear. I was having a conversation when I was networking here with one of the gentlemen, and I was telling them technology has even brought us to a place where we are now talking of zero trust. The network guys know what I'm saying. So are we going to start talking of zero love, zero hate? Because those are human nature. That's part of us. That's part of who we are. How do we tackle this? So I came here, personally I came here looking for answers. When I saw this topic, I had more questions. And I was hoping that I'll get answers here, but I'm going to leave you guys with questions. Because some of the questions I'll ask you, if you read carefully the question, you'll find the answer. So, what do we do with this human being? This human being who, when there's a jackpot, they are quick to react. The emotions run high. And when they are told you have won, I think this is part of the, was it called the Nigerian 419 scam? Those guys made a lot of money just riding on the human aspect. They were not techie. They didn't have all these intelligent hacking skills. I remember when we went live with a Fuliza project. I've worked somewhere there with Fuliza. We went live with Fuliza on day one. We were looking at the transactions. And the transactions were too good to be true. Okay? So we started asking the people who were getting the Fuliza facilities, how are you? How did you get this? So one of the guys told us, there is a guy in Gikomba. He didn't call him a guy. It was a broker. They had actually, on day one, somebody had already thought of this idea that I can be a broker. And then when people get Fuliza, I will actually go and take the loan for them, and they give me 20% of that loan. Somebody was making money. They were not experts in IT. They just knew how to do social engineering. Okay? So that was handled, but you can see on day one, someone was already thinking of how to do a social engineering attack. So easy money. We are looking at how do you ensure a human being will check and counter-check. How is it that even professionals, people who are tech savvy, get caught up in these funny links? A very tech savvy friend of mine lost money on this cryptocurrency that the video was talking about. When it tanked, he's one of the guys, he's removed all his money from there. I'm lucky I didn't follow his lead. The people who are doing that cryptocurrency gig, they just closed shop and disappeared. I believe that's a social engineering gimmick. Because they made you believe you'll make money, and then when you invested your money there, the guys closed shop. How do we, the attack can happen to anyone. Nobody's safe because of the human aspect. So I've talked of the technology. We are saying we need to fight fire with fire. That is, if the tech-savvy guys are going to be more technologically advanced, we are saying we also build technologies. But are those technologies really the only solution? We need to think beyond the technologies. Personally, where I'm sitting in the banking space, we have taken care of our people, training. We have taken all these nice technologies, we've put them in place. But the problem becomes the customer who has emotions. The customer. There are customers who have done stop on the USSD code. You know, when you're telling them, please, at the ATM, make sure nobody's watching when you're punching in the pin. They think this is noise. This is disturbing me. They have done the stop. You know the stop USSD, where you stop receiving that message? So even if you're going to do awareness, they will never get it. How do you address the customer human aspect? Questions, eh? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Asante sana.
All right.
Thank you so much.